Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJ Trip, and welcome to the rapid reaction of WWE Backlash 2020, the greatest wrestling match ever. Well, we'll get to that at the very end, but let's go ahead. Let's jump down to what we usually do, and we start from the beginning and get to the end. The kickoff show, the U.S. title match, was moved to the kickoff show for some ridiculous reason. I have no idea why. Maybe because Vince and Bruce Pritchard is back in charge, and so they want to move some of the silly stuff onto the pregame, onto the main roster show, and keep some of the more serious stuff onto the kickoff show. For whatever, we'll get to that later on in a second. As well. But the U.S. title match between Andrade and Apollo Crews. This match was one for these guys that have wrestled in some time, and they did some great stuff in the ring. I love the Apollo Crews move where he does the backflip and then does the standing backflip into a splash and then shooting star press. That's great. I love that from Apollo Crews. Match ended with Apollo Crews hitting his slam into a power bomb after Kevin Owens foiled and Angel Garza in interference. So really good match. I gave it 3 stars. Nice way to kick off the show. But then let's go ahead and let's go into the main roster show. We started with the women's tag team triple threat match for the women's tag team titles. Bayley and Sasha, the champions, taking on taking on like the Iconics and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. And yes, this was, I said it in my prediction show. I think if you're gonna do a triple threat match, you need to have all 3 people in the ring, and that's the way they did it. I love that. So that's the way they need to keep doing it. So very frantic action, very I would almost say I don't know the word chaotic action to begin with. The 3 has started. And at some point the 3 they go and knock off other people's tag partners, and so we have a whole thing going into. But what we have here to finish is we get to the finish of where Alexa Bliss hits, I believe it's Peyton Royce with the Twisted Bliss, but Chelsea Banks comes in and rolls her up, gets the victory, retains the tag titles for Sasha and Bayley. I gave it 2 3/4 stars. That's average. That's around average. So listen, I'm not gonna say these ladies worked hard. They tried their best. I'm not gonna say that it was. I think one of the things that, even though if you're gonna do a triple threat tag match and you're gonna have 3 people in the ring, it does get chaotic. But then you have 3 people outside the ring and people can tag and they just right in. So it's very chaotic and a very it's not like this match doesn't seem like it's in a type of structure. It seems like a structure to it because of the way it does it. But I would much rather have it like this than to have it where it's you can tag anybody. You can tag anybody. I hate that rule. So but the way they had this was really good. So I gave it 2 3/4 stars. It was a nice way to open up the main show. And Sasha and Bayley keeps their titles and moves their thing along. I think again, like I said, it looks like they're not going to try to wait for a long time and move it into WrestleMania. They're going to do this at SummerSlam, but I still like the way they're doing this. I would prefer Bayley lose the title, but that's neither here nor there. Next, we have Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. We know the story about this. This is Jeff Hardy, making his comeback after his DUI and his injury. Sheamus has been bringing this up. It's you have a storyline of where he could have hit and run with Elias, and they've been doing all of this. Now leaves the story of Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy, and Yeah. So and again, there was they started off again really like almost was a like a fight to the field. Like it was like Sheamus got pissed off, and he came out wanting to destroy Jeff Hardy. And there was some good action, some very hard hitting feel. Sheamus is a hard hitting type of worker. Um, and Jeff, he could do his own. Obviously when Jeff is in the right place and he's doing his best. He's a good worker as well. So really good stuff here. We had some whisper in the wind spots. We had like the twist of fate. And he went up and hit the swanton, but Sheamus, we had the rope at the last second, and then we had something where he went to run the rails outside like he normally do, but he ran into a bro kick. Sheamus threw him in the ring, hit another bro kick. 1, 2, 3 victory. Sheamus won. So I gave it 3.5 stars. That was really, really good. It was just a fun time. I personally think, and that's again, is because I personally think the right guy went over in that match, and they can keep this continued. Extreme Rules is next. Now you're gonna have Sheamus and Jeff in an Extreme Rules match, some type of Extreme Rules match. Maybe a table match or something kind of else, or I don't know, maybe if something where maybe if Sheamus wins, Jeff has to leave WWE or something like that. They can do all types of things now. This Sheamus needed to win because now Jeff can now really get his full heat back on Sheamus, and I think having him win tonight would have been the wrong way to go about it. So Sheamus won. I'm glad to see that. Next was the Raw Women's Championship match. It was Asuka versus Nia Jax. Again, this was some good stuff too here. I love what they had been doing. This was a thing where Asuka was trying to, you know, basically tap out Nia Jax. She's putting in all types of submission holds and doing all types of other things to her. Nia Jax was throwing her weight around, powering out of these submissions and powering out of the moves that she was doing. Asuka was doing to her. Great, great stuff. Love the octopus stretch. Just had that back. We didn't get a thing for the Asuka lock. Um, but I think I understand that, especially the way they went, just the way they went, with the way they finished was that they went to the corner and Nia Jax ran in and missed, and then what's her face, Asuka tried to put on an arm bar while in the corner, but she couldn't get she for some reason she couldn't get it, couldn't hold on, and so she slipped. She slipped, and what they did, they kind of just improvised, and they kind of just had, and they kind of pulled her to the, to pull. She pulled Nia Jax to the outside. Now there were some things. There was some people on Twitter and that was wondering was that a botch? Was that a botch? Um, but there doesn't seem to be like that. It seems like that was supposed to happen, and then what after that was supposed to happen, them fighting and having to be a double countout. And I think people the reason why people think it's a botch is because it pretty much seemed like they were going towards Charlotte Flair to face Asuka, for her next feud. Um, but if it just ends in a double countout, right? It just ends in a double countout. What does what did that mean? Does that mean that Nia Jackson is Asuka going to continue? Or Nia Jackson and Asuka going to have another match somewhere down the line, and then she goes on to Charlotte Flair? So what happens? So it's very odd. I think that's what a lot of people think it's a botch. I'm not sure. I'm not certain. I'm sure we'll find out over the next 24 hours. We'll find out something. We'll hear something if it was a botch or not. Um, and again, some people were upset. There's some people on Twitter where they were upset at it. That I think one thing the fans need to know is that not every wrestling match needs a finish. It doesn't need a finish because especially if you are going to continue with the feud, right? if you're going to continue with this feud, then you don't need a finish, So, and also you do something like this to protect people. You protect. You want to keep Nia Jax strong, but but just put the title on Oscar, right? You don't want especially if you're going to have Oscar. I guess either hold it until Shayna Baszler. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think Charlotte Flair's going to beat Oscar. I think Shayna Baszler's going to beat Oscar for the championship. So you want to try to build Oscar back up and then have the Oscar Shayna Baszler match, and that's when Shayna wins. Who knows? I could be wrong, especially now that Heyman's out and Bruce Pritchard is in. So, but that's why I just think it's going. And so yeah, I have no qualms with a double count out finish. The match was good. It was 3 stars. Give both girls credit. They worked their ass off. So there's that. Then we had the Universal Championship match. It was Braun Strowman versus The Miz and Morrison. And something is just not clicking with Braun Strowman. Something is just not clicking. He has regressed some. And I'm not necessarily sure what it is. I'm not necessarily sure if it's how they're booking him. I'm not sure if it's maybe he does not have any chemistry with people, because I think Braun Strowman is a better performer than he has shown over you know over this past year, or this past 6 months. I would say this past 6 months. I think he's a better performer than he's shown. Now maybe he's just he's maybe he's upset at his position in the company, or whatever. But it's and I'm kind of disappointed. That's all. This match was it was 2.5 stars. I gave it. The maybe the most important part of this match, and would probably lead to the Miz and Morrison breaking up, is they announced before the match that it wouldn't lead to being Miz and Morrison being co-Universal champions. It would be whoever took the fall would be the Universal champion. And at some point, they do a thing where they do the skull push finale, and Miz does that, and then Morrison comes off with a stomp, and Morrison pins, but then the Miz breaks it up, and he's acting like, I can't believe it, I can't believe I did that. And so it is obviously a selling point that they're going to be using for the future. And I think that's something that they will have to, talk about and think about. And again, I guess we'll be seeing that will probably end up being the reason why they Miz and Morrison do split. Now, I guess the split, I'm expecting the split would probably come shortly. Probably within. I'll probably say it would come sometime before the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Is when we get the split. This is what I do. I'll say that it will come no later than the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. That's when the split may happen. Otherwise, I think if it doesn't happen, then it could obviously it could happen after the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. But I would think that they're probably doing the same thing too to go to SummerSlam, where it's going to be like the big people and all the best friends break up and then have matches in SummerSlam and things like that. So yeah, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed. It was the worst match of this evening, and so yeah. The next we have the WWE title match between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, and I have to say, I love the way they booked Drew McIntyre. I love the way that they booked Bobby Lashley in the last few weeks. One thing I will say is that I'm kind of not into him just kicking out everyone. I'm not, like when it's early in the match and he's kicking out everyone, that's perfectly fine. But once after he gets beat on a little bit, and wears down. He should be doing the thing with 1 and 2, and then he kicks out. You know, that's what he should be doing. He should not still be kicking out at 1. 15 minutes into the match. He shouldn't be doing that. That shouldn't be happening. So hold on a minute. I'll be right back. Something's going on outside. Can't follow that, I guess. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I heard my mother talking, and I was making sure it just wasn't to me. It's to our cat. All right, so yeah, the WWE title match. Drew McIntyre is kicking out at 1 too much. I think they need to scale that back a little bit. Another way the match started, for Nelson. Drew McIntyre selling that off through the night, the evening, the match, and they're doing some great stuff here. And of course, like we all knew, here comes Lana. End of the match, come down. She's walking down. End of the match, she distracts Bobby Lashley in a way, causes Bobby Lashley to get Claymore, and it's a 1, 2, 3. It's a victory for Drew McIntyre, and MVP and Lashley leave Lana laying on the floor in the performance center, and so that's that. No, again, really good match. Really love the way they've done Bobby. I said in a predictions video that I was hoping that they would kind of protect Bobby in a way. Because I wanted this to continue, so I was hoping for like a double count out or a double disqualification, something like to happen here. It didn't. Now maybe in a little bit they did pick it the way we see. I would still love for them to do another match between him and Bobby at Extreme Rules, and then maybe we can have Seth and Rey Mysterio, or Seth and Dominic at Extreme Rules, and that will lead to Seth Rollins once again facing Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam, and then Seth Rollins actually winning the title, there and holding the title until we can get to a crowd, until WrestleMania, where we another Drew Seth Rollins match. It's the third, the third of the matches, with each man one. Or when we can even maybe have another match, but in that match can end in like another double kind of disqualification. So it's 1-1-1, and it's like it's truly the match to signify. So then Drew will get his true calling at WrestleMania 37. So the reason why the United States title match to Andrade and Paulo was moved to the kickoff show was because they're gonna that the Viking Raiders take on the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team title. Well, that's what we didn't get, because they started off having a fight on the outside, in the building, and then they slammed into Braun Strowman's car, and they ran inside, and then they ran and started to fight inside, and then Steve probably got golf clubs. The Viking Raiders got an axe and a bowling ball and a shield, and then so then they did some stuff, and then decided they ran to a hallway, said no, let's put it down, and it's a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just just because they can do something doesn't necessarily mean that they should do something. You know what I mean? Just because they've found a new way to do a wrestling match doesn't mean that they really should do it. And Yeah, it was not something that I think is, not something that I think is, it's it's not right. I've talked about this before. I'm getting so sick and tired of these cinematic matches that are, you know, that do all of these weird jump cuts and do things where cameras are in positions that should not be in positions. We see that a little bit in this in this main event. So um, and yeah, so it's and then this one just off the motherfucking tree. I mean, at some point they go to a thing and they fight outside the performance center and they do all of this, and all of a sudden they're fighting. All of a sudden, a group of ninjas come out of nowhere, led by Akira Tozawa. Why does Akira Tozawa have a group of ninjas? And where these ninjas been in the last couple months? He be getting his ass all over, all over Monday Night Raw. Where are the ninjas then? So he had all these ninjas, and it reminded me of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie when they get in the movie, they get in the thing, and the first one that goes, they're talking about Shredder, and is at some point, where did we lose control here? From Sony to tell them that we're the good guys. And so it reminded me of that. And then in this huddle, and then they beat up the ninjas, and then Akira Tozawa brings out this black ninja with a sword. What? So then what they do is they go ahead and they run up like boxes that are just they're just stacked there. You can obviously just run up from, and then they run up, and they're on top of the thing as they're running, and they get to an end, and then Ivar runs. He talk about him with a turkey. That was one of the funny part. I guess he's doing the Thor thing. Thor, all the movies when Thor sticks his hand out like that, and then the Mjolnir comes to him. He's doing that with a turkey leg, and the turkey leg, for some reason, there's a turkey leg stuck in a bush. He does it out and comes at him, and so then they they go up to this thing, they run over, and then they start fighting again on top of this trailer truck. And then the other two fall somewhere. Ivar pushes Taz off something, and then Ivar jumps onto all of them. And then they're in this dumpster full of garbage, and then the lady ref, Jessica, comes up and says, "Guys, your match is next." And she does the Ivar, you're cute, big, handsome, Roe, whatever your name is, Roe, you're not, Eric, you're not cute. And then something starts growling, and then there's like a fucking fake ass tail that starts flipping and flopping and flooping and flooping, and I mean, really, seriously. The Boneyard match I liked. The Boneyard match reminded me of the old school um, match between Undertaker and Mankind, the Boiler Room Brawl. It reminded me of that. Reminded me of that. Even though that was cinematic, but it reminded me of a real fight. The Firefly Funhouse match, it was not a match. It was a segment. There was no wrestling. They were just doing all types of bull crap, and that's what I fear they're gonna do with Braun Strowman. Not only do I fear that they're gonna put the title back on the Fiend, but I also think that once again they're going to, once again they're going to do another Firefly Funhouse type thing, and it's just be a bunch of bull crap. Uh, then we had the Money in the Bank match, which it's again, I why are they stopping to have a food fight? Why at 9 fucking o'clock at night is Paul Heyman eating a buffet of food? Let maybe Vince McMahon being in his office is something. Why were there doinks? I just the final beat match from with Ciampa and Gargano was pretty good. I like that cinematic match again because it was a match. Although that once again was kind of crazy. I don't know why they also went up onto a tanker truck or to a position truck that they didn't need to go on top of. So I don't know why, but that one was pretty good. I did not watch the Stadium Stampede of AEW one, but again, to me what that sounded like it was like the Firefly Funhouse match, even especially with Matt Hardy being drowned, coming back up, and a different character every time he was pulled back up, and it was just that was ridiculous. So that, and then what's another one? What's another one that just is there another one that just did? Oh yeah, the one with Adam Cole and Dream, the little team Dream. There was that one as well. And then we had this thing. It's just too much. There's not everything. So just because, again, like I said before, just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should. There's not a there's no reason for especially to take off Apollo Crews and Andrade. That could have been on the main card. Take that off for this. You could have done this on Raw last night. Yes, you could have done this on Raw last night, and it would have been fine. Yeah, it would have been fine. Don't promote it as a wrestling match, or that you're going to do a wrestling match and then you do this. No, you just did that. You said that hey, we're getting word back that the Street Profits are having a fight backstage, and you go to it, you could have started off Raw that way. Okay, it would have been funny. It would have made sense, but who knows nowadays? So after that, we had the greatest match ever, as it was billed, between Randy Orton and Edge. So let me say this: there's just no way this was going to end up being the greatest match ever. There's no way that this was going to surpass Undertaker versus HBK from WrestleMania 25. I just there's no way it couldn't, not for me. Um, it shouldn't be for anybody. There's no way it's going to surpass that. Could it be good? Yes, it could have been good. Was it going to be great? Yeah, it could have been great. Was it going to be the greatest ever? No, not going to be the greatest match ever. No. And I think that really made everybody else very skeptical about what this match could have been. And that actually hurt it. That tagline actually hurt it, because if they didn't give this the tagline of the greatest wrestling match ever, I think a lot of people would be a lot more willing to give this credit than they will do. A lot of people are not going to give this credit. I think they're not going to give this credit because of two things. I think of one because of that tagline, and two because of some of the things they did in this match. You know, they said it beforehand they were going to do some things to give you a type of experience. They piped in crowd audio. They did ridiculous camera shots. Most importantly, like the camera shots of, when they first locked up, there was a camera under them. Why is there? There's no need for a camera under them. And then when Randy Orton did a superplex, there was a camera got in the ring when they did the superplex. So there was just nothing about, so people are gonna take that off. But if people were honest, with themselves, and people really took a good look at what they did, stuff they did in the ring, the story that they were trying to tell, really, I think this turned out to be a really, really darn good match. And it is in my book, it is a 5-star match. Love the way they started off, but doing the old school stuff, the arm drags, the headlocks, the filling out period that there is in a wrestling match at the beginning of the match. Loved it. For some reason, Randy Orton busted either he busted a blood capsule on his head for some reason, just to add a little color to the match for some reason. I don't know why. You're Randy freaking Orton. Vince would either let you do a little swipe, if you wanted color, or again, you're Randy Orton. Pay the $5,000, $10,000 fine you get for doing a little swipe. This. Yeah, I mean, why? Or if he did get opened up somehow, then I'm gonna guess that, because this match was pre-recorded, so I'm gonna guess that at some point he was stitched, he was glued shut. I guess at some point he was glued shut, because blood it got to a point where like 5 minutes later, the blood was like dried up and gone. So I think he either used the blood capsule, or they glued him up, and that was obviously edited out, just like they did with Kairi Sane. But yeah, so and they did some really, really good stuff. Loved it. They're doing all of the hits. They're doing the greatest hits of them. They're doing and then when it gets toward the middle of the match, they start doing the greatest hits of other people. The three Amigos and Eddie Guerrero, and they're hitting Unprettiers and Olympic slams and pedigrees and rock bottoms and everything like that. They do that, and then they go back to hitting their hits, and they're hitting the spear and the RKO and everything like that. There's some great storytelling, great everything about it. Everything about this was wonderful, and it was great, and it again, it was a great match. I'm going to give it the full 5 stars. From my account, it's the first 5-star match Randy Orton has ever had. It's the first 5-star match, first 5-star wrestling match that Edge has had. Edge has had 5-star matches with all of the TLCs. He had wrestling with other TLCs. I think he probably had another 5-star match, one of those other type of matches, maybe like a Hell in a Cell match or something like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but yeah, this like the first wrestling match. Yeah, he's got a 5-star match, and it was just incredible. Love the way they went to the ending. Randy Orton kicked out of 2 spears. Edge kicked out of 2 RKOs. He was finished with the punt. They brought the punt back from the finish with, and Randy Orton is your winner. And I think that is perfect. That is perfect. Again, you tell them the story that once again pushes Randy Orton into another category that, but now he at some point, if they wanted to go away from Bobby Lashley and they're gonna have Seth Rollins do this with Mysterio, then now you can go in Extreme Rules. You can go Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for a match, and so yeah, this was totally fine. Again, I say this. I think this. Well, what they showed is that you don't need that. You can sell. You can do a match. You can sell. You can do a match where you know that you can hit your moves. You can have all your moves. You can do everything, but you can also sell. That's one of the things that I think I may have said this before. And one of the things that I don't like sometimes about some of these new stuff is that they just like they don't sell anything. They get hit and then like before they sell something, they gotta do a move to and then they sell. And that's not something that I just this was this was truly amazing, and I loved it. The second of it, it got me jumping out of my seat. At one point, I was like, "Oh man, this is getting good. This is getting good." I was popping and marking out for some things too as well. Um, so yeah, yeah. Again, um, I think maybe the way they shot this with some of the camera angles and like that, the piping in of the crowd noise, the fake chants and things like that. Um, and of course, the fact that they called this the greatest wrestling match ever. In some people's eyes, may hurt this, but I think if you can get past that, now look at the match as a match itself. I think you would say it is awesome. I'm not sure if you would give it 5 stars like I did, but I think that you could easily give this 4.5, 4 3/4 stars, if not 5. I think it was that type of match. I'm giving it 5 stars because I just think because I think just it's just again it's that nostalgia of that old school. So that's one reason why I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it 5 stars. You ask me in 2 years, I may drop it down, but right now, in the moment, I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I'm really keen to see, and I'll look later. But I'm really keen to see what Scott Keith's notable internet wrestling reviewer, what he will give this match. What he will give this match. So yeah, again, not the greatest wrestling match ever. It was never going to be one. Never be going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. But damn, was it not really, really good? So yeah, this was all in all a pretty good show. Yeah, really good show. I think the Universal title match was disappointing, and I have no idea what the hell they're doing with the Viking Prophets. That's what they called themselves at one point when they came together to fight the ninjas, the Viking Prophets. But all in all, this show was good. I think it had something for everybody. Something for everybody. There's some good stuff. Maybe the only thing it needed was maybe like a kind of a high flying match, maybe. But otherwise, it was some really good stuff. So tomorrow night we start the new era of WWE Monday Night Raw. So we'll see what happens with that. But all in all, this was again a good night for professional wrestling, a good night for the WWE. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. Thank you to Boyne for the kind words. I appreciate it. As always, make sure that you click the notification bell when I go live. So when I go live or when I upload a new video, you will know where it is. The next film reaction that is scheduled will be Extreme Rules, July 19th. So make sure you are here for that. I think it's hopefully it will continue to be something special. Right now, I think it's on a roll, and they're doing some really, really good stuff. Let's hope that the change from Heyman to Bruce Pritchard doesn't derail it. They're doing some really, really good stuff. So
yeah, post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys thought about all the matches that happened. What you thought of, everybody thought of my ratings, and particularly, of course, the greatest wrestling match ever, Edge and Randy Orton. What did you feel about that? Let me know down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTrip, become a Patreon. When I get to a certain amount of Patreons, I'll open up the voting to where you can vote what you want to see here on my channel, here on YouTube, the games you want me to play over on my Twitch channel, twitch.com/A2020, and what do you want to hear on my podcast, The Game According to Me. The anchor.fm's, /A2020 show, or just search A2020 shows on wherever you get your podcasts. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJ Trip, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.